All right. Good afternoon, everyone, and thank you all for joining. I'm going to look around the room really quick and see who's on, because I really wanted to shoot for a lot of the current leaders and also current club presidents and club VPs. But I'm not disappointed. I'm glad to see your faces. I wanted to definitely do this and gear it to them. I wanted them to be on here to kind of get an idea of what is the next step for them, maybe, if that's the step they're taking. But I wanted you to get a gleam into exactly what goes on in the district, or what it's about and what we're responsible for. So again, I say all of that to say this. I know you're on the call today, but if you know of anyone that has potential or even thinking about going forward in their Toastmasters journey, I hate to say, and I know it's not a good word to say hate, but I hate to say that even if you're going for your DTM, this is something you want to hear. Yes, it's something you want to hear, but I don't want that to be the driving factor. Does that make sense? So I want those people, and if you know those people, if you're stumbling over those people, or you sit on someone's Zoom meeting, you're listening into that club meeting, and you hear them talk or explain or give a speech or even lead in that meeting, see the potential, please do not hesitate to tap them on the shoulder, send them a chat, something, and say, you have great potential. Because it all starts with us uplifting someone else. Because a lot of people don't see what they already have. Does that make sense? Okay, so I just wanted to see who all was in the room. Again, I thank you guys for coming, you guys and gals. What I'm going to do this week, I'm gonna move this over, is Train Them Up Tuesdays. So every day, every Tuesday for the month of November, I am taking time out at lunch. I'm doing a lunch and learn, and just to give back to whomever wants to know more before they take that step into district leadership. And it's all about district leadership. This is for everyone, because leadership is for everyone, if that's the route you want to go. But I just wanted to focus on those who are making the trip and they are intentional about it, if that makes sense. All right, so I'm going to press forward on this slide deck. And how I'm going to start today is the agenda and objectives, and what it is all about. It's all about taking a deep dive and understanding what the district does. So it's all about the nuts and bolts of the district team, from what to expect, what's expected of them from Toastmasters International, from the district membership. I mean, we as members and club members also expect something from our district, them being up in the hierarchy, if you will. So all the way from that, all the way to the governing documents, deeper dive into the resources that are available. Just want to give you a tidbit of what is available, what we're doing at the district level. And that's just not with the trio. It may seem like when I say district, everyone thinks about the top three or the quad. No, this is about district leadership, and that starts with the area director. Okay, all righty. So I just wanted to kind of go over some of that. I know I kind of cruised over it, but I will touch on these things: the structure, leadership and roles and responsibilities, the district responsibilities, and what they're responsible for, all the way down to it. I am going to touch on probably 2 of these each day. So I'm definitely going to think I'm touching on the management and structure part today. Then the next Tuesday, we'll do the leadership roles and responsibilities and whatever comes after that. And this is going to be real interactive. So I want you guys, very informal, real interactive. So I want you guys to feel free to have lunch, because we're at lunchtime. If you see me pick my water bottle up, it's lunchtime. Don't look twisted at me. But definitely jump in with questions. Let's make it wide open. Just have a conversation, if you will. The first thing I want to start off with is, how do you define leadership? How do you define leadership? So think about that for a second. How do you define leadership? And what we'll do is, instead of making it interactive as far as the whiteboard is concerned, I actually had the whiteboard up to do something different, something new, but it's lunchtime and I want to stay on track. So if you can, think about it for a second, jot some things in the chat box, and then some people come off of mute and share with us. How do you define leadership? Okay, let me check out a check. Here comes Anne Marie. Excellent. And the reason I wanted to see some in chat, because I want to call them off, but I do want to hear a conversation. Again, we're having a conversation. So Ben says, providing the environment and tools for others to be successful. I love that. Kathleen says supporting others. Let me see, I missed the first one, was from Kathleen. She says influence. Yes, I hear that a lot as well. All right, Ekman, you want to come off of mute and share with us?
Help others to be successful.
Help others to be successful. I love being others minded. Yes, welcome Anne-Marie, thanks for joining. Excellent. So I also put this up too, to kind of, I guess, play on your memory. Just jog your memory, if you will. What is this? This is the club mission. It says we provide a supportive and positive learning experience in which members are empowered to develop communication and leadership skills, resulting in a greater self-confidence and personal growth. The reason why I put this up, because I want you to think also within your club, the things you're doing there, couldn't those things, those leadership things define leadership for you? So what are some of the things you do in your club that says leadership? Just keep it simple. Bring it on just a low level, just on this level. What's some of the things we do?
Educate.
Educate.
Mentor.
Mentor. Yes, that's Ben's favorite. What else is in the chat box? Educate, mentor, having a vision, implement, that's for the other, yes. So look at this club mission. What is the one word or one phrase that jumps out to you most and resonates with you? And then tell me why.
I like the word empowered.
Yeah.
Okay, empowered, why, Kathy? Why empowered?
Because to me, it symbolizes strength. And providing that to others, building confidence, things like that.
Yes, I love that too. That's one that jumps out at me as well. Is there another maybe that jumps out at you, Taz, that you can expound on as far as it pertains to leadership?
Well, can you hear me? One of the things that I think about when I look into club leadership or district leadership is that, it says we develop leadership skills. But there's nothing that says what those skills are. Nothing. If you're mentoring somebody, that still doesn't say anything about learning the skills to lead. To be a leader, you have to have a focus. You have to have a point in future that you want to achieve. And then you also have to have your team held accountable to achieve those goals. So your skills could be, I'm going to let these people, do those things that they know how to do, or I'm going to have to mentor them to know how to do them, but I'm at least going to have them held accountable for the things that they're supposed to do.
I like that. And that makes sense. So one of the things I love about Toastmasters is like any word or any question you may have, you can put it in the search box and something's going to pop up. So I'm going to take that, Taz, as you put something in it, you put that in the search box. And what I'm going to pop up is the skills and competencies document that Toastmasters has available for district leadership. If you pull that up for every role in district leadership, it gives you some of the skills that one, you could have, should have, or ones you can build upon. Does it make sense?
Learn.
Yeah. I like it saying build better than need to learn, just to be safe, right? But yeah, definitely. If it doesn't say, I love the fact that I can put it in a search box in Toastmasters International, and boom, I have something. So now I have the document that tells me what skills I should possess and what skills I can learn in leadership. Love it. Communication. Yes, Edgar. All right, let me move to the next. Now, the next one I have up here is we build new clubs and support all clubs in achieving excellence. And that's the district mission. My question to you is, how does the district mission differ from the club mission? as it pertains to leading or leadership, and why do you think that is?
Well, I'll just answer. My take is this, that the district is there to help. I'm going to just talk about existing clubs, most likely, but the district is there to support those clubs to make sure that they are achieving, their goals. So, and the only way we can measure that is the DCP points. So if a club is not achieving the DCP points, then according to Toastmasters, they're not doing so well. But there's exceptions to that.
Okay. And it's actually simpler than that. Did anyone else have anything they want to add to it?
Yes, I want to add something to it.
Please, Anne Marie, thank you.
I think that on the club level, it is more hands-on. And in the district level, it is allowing the club members to go a step further into their leadership journey.
Into their leadership.
That's what I think is the difference
More
between the
hands-on.
district and the club.
Okay, more hands-on versus leadership
Advancement. Yeah,
advancement.
advancement in
journey.
leadership.
Okay, advancement in their journey, on their journey, leadership journey. Okay, and I'll take one more. Is there another? Maybe something Taz or Anne Marie said helped you kind of think of something.
Well, I would say that all three missions, the Toastmasters mission, the district mission, and the club mission, all work hand in hand. During one of my past presentations, I actually stated that the club mission is actually kin to the audience cheering on the actors. The district mission is akin to the actual place on where the actors can act, would be the auditorium. And the Toastmasters mission is actually the individual member getting up on stage and doing what they're doing. So that's how I sort of relate the three of them together, working hand in hand.
Yeah, and I remember that, Ben, so thanks for sharing it. And in Ben's answer, the simple answer is audience. It's the audience. If you think about the leadership, how it's defined or how it differentiates between the two, it's just the audience.
But what would happen if the audience, half the audience who bought tickets, decided not to show up for the play?
And that happens.
And that happens. So that's now going back to, like Anne Marie saying, okay, it's hands-on, and it's supporting that club so that they realize that they need to show up for the play.
Yeah.
And that's where if there's a disconnect there, at any point in time, you have no audience.
And at any point in time, you have to step aside or step 2 steps and actually do what Anne Marie said and put hands on. So the thing is the audience. At the district level, your audience are your district leaders. Whether it be your division leading and supporting your area, and your area supporting who they support, which is the club.
Well,
but again, it's all about being able to delegate, be able to lead a team, not only lead and delegate, but to allow. Does that make sense? And it's the audience that makes the difference between the two. All right. No wrong answer. I love them all. I just wanted us to have that conversation. All right, let's move to the next. Here are some other who, what their thoughts, their definitions of leadership. Here's Ralph Smedley. The well-balanced, intelligent speaker is the natural leader in any group in which he is a part of. How about another one? There are leaders and there are those who lead. Leaders hold a position of power or influence. Those who lead inspire us.
and Simon Sinek is like awesome.
And I love that. That's powerful. Here's another one. A good leader takes a little more than his share of blame then a little less than his share of the credit. That's being others minded, but at the same time supporting. I love those two. All right, and moving forward. Just wanted to share that. I probably dropped some nuggets like that throughout. Here I have, here is, can you identify with the following statements? I'll give you a moment to read them, and then I'll just kind of talk while you're reading. But how many of you are performing several of the items on this list right now at work or even in your everyday life? My question to you is, how about taking, or my statement to you is, how about taking some time, something you already do currently, and take it to the, and you exercise daily in your, like I said, everyday life or even at work, and take it to the next level. In district leadership, there are so many layers upon layers of opportunity to demonstrate just what you're already doing. Focusing on professional development of others, promoting innovative problem solving. That's huge in the district. And you do that with your children at home, I'm sure. Allowing yourself to be remembered. You still do, Taz, as soon as you want to come over and something goes wrong and he's trying to fix that hot sauce and I need your opinion on something, or even your taste buds. But allowing yourself to be remembered more than for what you've contributed, more than what you've achieved. If you're sitting back looking at anything on this list and you're saying, yep, that was me, I did that, and it just jogs memory on anything, then you're a leader. You're a leader already.
For me personally, number 3, if you go back, it says consistently provide others with positive feedback. Because I've got like 0 tact, for me, that's for me, I consistently provide others with honest evaluation.
I love that.
And I think that's more than just, okay, I love what you're doing, I love what you're doing, I love what you're doing, but what you're doing is not needed, what you're doing is not the most important thing to follow. Then I think you still have to have that conversation saying that these are the things you need to worry about. And I think that's just an honest evaluation rather than positive feedback.
Okay, well, let's talk about that as a group. So let's everybody chime in on it. So say we are in district leadership. So these are scenarios, again, this is an open conversation, scenarios that we will be encountered with when people come up, they step up, and now you want to be a district leader. You want to step outside your 4 walls, and now you want to be able to give that positive, with honest, honest feedback, honest evaluation. You want to give that, but now you're dealing with 1,500 different personalities. How do you know you can actually give that honest evaluation to someone? Can they handle it? Are you going to run across someone that's going to say, I'm timid, I can't take this, I'm leaving out the door? How do you give honest evaluations when you have someone not strong enough to receive it? How do you determine a person that is strong enough to receive it? Kathy?
Well, in my opinion, it really should be balanced feedback. And when you provide that feedback to the person, provide alternative solutions or suggestions on how to improve by giving examples. And that's something for them to take back and, decide what they're going to do with it. But at least you're giving them some type of positive solutions on how to, deal with their challenges, I'll say.
That's huge. That is so huge. Because you hear the saying, don't be part of the problem, be part of the solution. So how are you going to come at me and you don't know my personality or task if I'm able to receive honest evaluation and you don't know me enough to come to me? It could actually tear me down as opposed to building me up.
Yeah, I agree. It does have to be, you got to be balanced. I agree. I think some of that too is like the question answer session before that, because that way you need to know if they're focused on the things that you're focused on. And, you know, as a team, the whole team has to be focused on what that success is. So, you know, that whole conversation happens before that evaluation part comes to process. So, you know,
And how
Too
many times
powerful.
do you have that conversation, right? Where you show up to a meeting, I'm giving a speech, no one signed up to be my evaluator, and now suddenly it's, oh, will you evaluate this person? Oh, okay, great. Where's the time to sit and talk with them for a minute or two at least to say, you know, hey, what do you want me to watch out for? What do you yell it across the room and, you know, they jot something down? Yeah, that's why it's so important for people to set up the meetings ahead of time, to have those in conversations.
yeah, I was doing mostly with district leadership, not necessarily a club meeting.
But that's
Well,
an
even that
excellent-
too.
That's an excellent example, though. That's
Yeah.
an
Yeah,
excellent example.
but even,
Yeah.
exactly, but even that too, about having people set up. I mean, you know, half my group is already here that I call up and say, okay, how was that? And they go, oh Lord. I said, give me the 2x4, and y'all do. And then I go, okay, I'm not talking to you for 2 weeks then. All right, call me later. I got to process this.
Those are excellent. So just definitely put those are great golden nuggets. So definitely write those and hold on to them. Alternate solutions and a Q&A session prior to. You got to know the person. You got to know what they're going for. Because I may not be going for what you're giving me feedback on. I'm just trying to actually fill space. I didn't need you to beat me up so bad. That type of thing. So yeah, I love it. Alternate solutions and a Q&A session prior to. I love it. All right, that was number 3. That was beautiful. Let me minimize so I can see where I'm at. I think we're doing okay on time. I'm trying to watch. Perfect, yes. Okay, some of the benefits of district leadership. I wanted to go into this to say, let me see where I am. Serving as a district leader, serving as a district leader is a great responsibility. And I always say this, it's an exciting opportunity, but it's still a great responsibility. Filled with chances for you to renew perspectives, practice teamwork, deliver your capability to translate value, strategies into a productive atmosphere, if you will. It's learning and doing. It's doing while you're learning and learning while you're doing, if you will. But the main thing is to help others grow while you're doing it. Whether you're coaching, delegating, working on your effective communication while you help someone else effectively communicate. But it's definitely a great responsibility. And this is what I want everyone that wants to go forward into district leadership to know, that it's not something you just say yes because somebody pulled you out the audience that I thought you could be, so let's do it. You think so? Yes. It's something to take a pause and say, let me look into it and see what it all entails, and then say yes, after it's something you want to do in order to take advantage of an opportunity, a great, exciting opportunity. So that's one of the things that everybody has to see. And when we talk to others that you see potential in, just make sure they know the benefits are there, but also it's still a great responsibility. And we want them to dive into what we're asking them to do. Does that make sense?
Yeah. I think one of the, in my experience, I think one of the problems that I've seen most is you will have not necessarily leaders in Toastmasters, or people that are not in leadership positions, but other leaders in Toastmasters. They'll say, oh, you have a really good way with you. You know, people really like to talk to you. You have you're a natural leader. You should become an area director. And then you say, oh, okay. And that's the only input you get until you're appointed as an area director. And then you find out, oh, this and this and this and this needs to happen. This needs to work. So and then you'll never get that person stand up and say, okay, I want to be a leader at any time, ever again. And I've seen that happen so many times that people are not totally informed as to what their responsibilities are going into that position. And that's the same thing with presidents. How many times have you gone to a new club or gone to a club and you got the person that's been there 4 months, 5 months, you go, man, you'd be a great president. Next thing you know, they're elected president. And then you go, okay, 2 months later, you're going to go to a TLI. So you've already missed, 12% of your term before you even get trained to figure out what you're supposed to do. And then they go, oh, I'll never do this again.
Mm-hmm. We scarred them for life.
Yeah, we scar them for life.
Yeah. So it's two ways. I know everyone. I'm myself. I'm over the top, so I can't put meat on someone else. But at the same time, the onus is not only on the person sharing the information and pumping them up and saying you would be great, but it's still on that person as well that's being spoken to, the recipient. So I'm actually going to pump somebody up and say, you're great, this, that, and the other. But on me sharing that information, I want to be authentic. I want to be truthful. I need to know that person a little bit more than just the surface to be able to go. So when you go and you approach somebody, and I say, definitely, if you know somebody that has the potential, please know them enough to make sure they have the potential. Okay, don't be, like Tess say, just because they're there, somebody we need a spot filled. Don't be untruthful. It has to be real. And then the person receiving it, and if somebody's actually giving you those accolades that you may have seen yourself, but just didn't know you had it, now that someone's seen it and they're actually confirming and verifying, now it's for you to dig down deep to go in, okay, well, what is this position? Everybody, too many people will say, okay, I'm gonna help you out, I'll do it, and don't know what they're helping out to do. It's still always on that person to say, let me take time out, let me pause. Can I get back with you in about 2 days after I research what it is, and then I'll let you know if it's a yes or no.
Yeah, just say, well, to learn more about it, this is where you go look. You do have to, like Kathy said, let them know what the expectations are. Yeah. That's probably one of the biggest things that, their expectations and your expectations are most usually not the same thing.
Because you've been there 4 months more than their 4 months.
Right.
Yes, yeah. But what I want to say to that is, as for those who are on the call and aren't familiar with moving into a district leadership, and I tell you, go out there, if you see someone with potential, what I'm asking you is definitely keep your eyes and ears open, but when you approach them, please tell them the benefits, but don't leave out the fact that it is a very, what's the word I used? Great responsibility.
There's work involved.
Right. And if you put there's work involved, there's a great responsibility. Hopefully they're going to come back and ask a little bit deeper diving, clarifying questions before they say yes. And if they don't, then Tash, yes, here's the position. This is what it entails. But click on this link or go to this place and look into it a little bit more before you say yes. So help them out if they don't know, and they're that kind soul that want to help everybody in the world. Please give them the heads up. There's benefits in this, but at the same time, it is a great responsibility. Because if you don't, the only person, if they were to come in and you allow them to come in, they didn't do their part, learning a little bit more about it, it's a disservice only to the entire district. That's all, just the entire district is where the disservice is going to happen.
Yeah.
All right. I love it. Thank you, guys. Let's see what else I got going on here. All right. This slide tells me resources, governing documents. So I mentioned earlier, just some of the inner works. I want those who are on the call to know a little bit more what the district has to offer. I'm gonna move this over so I can see. Okay, so in order for a team to lead efficiently, that's the word, efficiently, one must first understand the roles within the organization as a district leader, and having a clear understanding of the responsibilities and the appropriate procedures for the role is essential.
to the success of the district. And these have to be known. So that's what I'm saying. They got to dig down and at least know what is going to be expected of them. And everything's out there. There's so many resources. The resources come all the way down from first your regional advisor. They're like, well, what's the regional advisor? Well, did you dig down and deep to see that you're not in this thing alone? When you get to a district leadership, it's not just you. There's the district handbook. You know, Toastmasters has everything. As I mentioned earlier, anything you put in the search box, one word or a phrase, something's going to pop up and everything's already there. One of the things we do is people who just don't want to read, we put it, if we want to keep it secret, we put it in words, right? Put it in a book, because people never want to read, but it's all right there. Any question you have, all the way down to the disgruntled member or disgruntled leader, is in Toastmasters International's verbiage somewhere. Policy, rules and regulations, and procedures is in there. The district executive committee roles are actually listed on the website if you don't want to read a book. I'm just saying, resources are there, from the governing documents of Toastmasters International all the way down to the, like I said, the people that you're going to be working with. But so one of the things I wanted to say with this district management leadership is that we have to uphold the governing documents within Toastmasters, some of the things that we're responsible for as a district leader. For the most part, again, you don't have to guess at anything. Chances are it already happened in Toastmasters overall. So if you need a rule or regulation or policy, look it up. It's there, and it'll tell you how to attack or approach or resolve that issue if it's an issue. Another responsibility I want to speak to is foster an atmosphere of enjoyment, teamwork, and dedication in the spirit of learning and growing and achieving. So it's not just you learning, growing, and achieving for yourself, but a whole organization. So you want to foster that atmosphere, meaning you don't want to come in, what is it, the negative Nancy's and the Debbie Downers, because you never know who's watching you. It's always someone watching you. You are, I guess, a picture frame they're looking into of Toastmasters International. You may be that poster child, if you will. Does that make sense? So you want to always foster an atmosphere of learning, because that's what we're here for. We're here to grow and learn, whether in leadership or as a member in our progression within the club. Some other things I want to speak to is work to fulfill the district mission of building new clubs and supporting all clubs and achieving excellence. That's the mission, right? So we want to just, in our actions, we want to always have that in our mind as a district leader, that it's not just about me, it's about the entire organization, and then deeper, the district, which actually is full of 2,200 plus members. And one of the things we want to do is be able to help them grow in order to make the district grow, in order to make the organization grow. That's one of the things no one, and I was telling Kathy this the other day, and Kathy can keep me honest. No one wants to be on a mediocre team. I don't care what anybody says. You know, no one wants to be that person that say, oh, if we do it, if we get there. No, everyone. Now, if I was to come to you and say, because I say this at CMS, I say CMS we birth leaders. How many leaders came out and said, we birth leaders? So when I say that to someone and coming in from NEO, new employee orientation, the first thing is like, oh, I want to come to your meeting. I want to go to CMS. Because they birth leaders. No one wants to be a part of a mediocre organization or team. So if anyone tells you, oh, we get the DCP or we don't, no, strive for it. Why do they set the bar so low? It's just that just befuddles me, you know. All right, so I'm on my soapbox. I'm sorry, let me press forward. The next one I wanted to mention is strive. And I'm gonna actually speak to this one because Taz mentioned something earlier. Strive to achieve recognition in the DCP, Distinguished District Program. I have to spell it out. Honestly, again, no one wants to meet her. The reason why I said strive to, because Taz, I wrote it down. Yep. You mentioned TMI when you don't get your DCP goals. TMI tends to look at you as you're not doing good or doing well. Okay. I just wanted to, again, I'm gonna stay on my soapbox and say, we should strive for higher. We should strive for above and beyond, right?
Yes.
But what we want to do is be careful with our words when we talk to members and clubs, because Toastmasters don't look at you as not doing good if you don't get your GCP grows, because in their verbiage all throughout the book, they always say strive to achieve that recognition in the DCP goal. So just be mindful of that, because they, even if you don't make the DCP goals, they want to dig down deep to find out what you are doing well, what goals you did exceed, because that is doing well and that's a success. Agreed? So if you look through it, they always say strive to get. They don't say get. They always say strive to get. So I do want to pull that out as well. So Toastmasters did cover themselves with that.
Yeah.
Excellent. The last one, I just want to say, prepare your successor to assume office. This is where not just District 18, but many districts, this is where we fall short. We fail to prepare in two ways. One, we feel like when we get to the end, even before the end, I always say this. When we're in the gym, people in the gym, and they say, okay, we count down 5, 4, 3. How many people stop at 3? They only got 2 more to go, and they stop at 3. That's how we do in Toastmasters. We get to the next month, next to the last month, and we gas out. So now we don't have nothing else to do with it. That means we don't want to help anyone, our successors. One, if they're already identified, we gassed out. But even more than that, we gas out before a successor comes in. We don't even take the time to prepare anybody or even to seek out anybody to give somebody to be able to. And that's where we fall short. And not just we in District 18, but all districts. Kathy.
I agree wholeheartedly. And I would say for the district, for every role on up to the district director, there should be a transition plan, like a template put together in terms of what they need to know. When I was an area director, I had a phenomenal division director, and she made all of us in our areas put together a transition plan so that the incoming area director would know what to expect with their clubs. And I think that's key. We need to do that for every role within, well, and if you want to talk about at the district level, yes, we need that. And make sure that's executed. Just don't leave the successor hanging. You need a transition plan.
Yes, agreed.
And
agreed. Anyone else, Taz?
I just want to, just take that down another step further. I don't know of any club that does that either. But if you have a transition plan, for at least for your president, your VPE, and your membership or your PR person, if you have a plan for that, then yeah, it makes that transition a lot smoother. They hit the ground running where they don't have to wait for a TLI 2 months down the road to figure out, oh, this is what I'm supposed to be doing versus what I'm doing. And nobody in the club ever told me. So, therefore, and that's, you're sinking in a hole of quicksand before you're able to pull yourself back out. Yeah. So, Kathy, I love that idea.
Yeah. Excellent. Anyone else? Successors, success plan, transition plan.
Yeah, a lot of people put that into the role of mentoring your successor, but write it down. I mean, that it sure does make it a lot easier.
That it does. All right, well, good feedback. Thank you, Kathy, Taz, everybody. So now where I want to go is the structure. I want to make sure when you come into not into this district leadership, even though we're talking district leadership, but even within your club, you should know the structure, the hierarchy, if you will. The main thing, first things first that you should know is that everything on the hierarchy
wouldn't be on the hierarchy without the members. So it all starts with the members. You have to have a member or a group of in order to get a club. Make sense? In order to get clubs, and then you go from there. But again, just in the club level, and I know we all know this because we're there now, but the club executive committee are your 7 people, or your 8, including the immediate past president. Your president, your vice president of education, vice president of membership, PPPR, which is public relations, secretary, treasurer, sergeant at arms, and then the immediate past president. We just came off with successor. The immediate past president is powerful. It's what else? What's another P word? It's permanent. It's actually no, it's on the top of my tip of my tongue. But they carry a lot of weight, and a lot of times the immediate past president doesn't feel that way. Again, that in the gym. 5, 4, 3, 2, 1. They gas out at 3 and then they disappear. So it starts there, that immediate president being able to talk with their successor, groom their successor, and make sure they know where they need to go, because those things they experience, now they're able to share with the president what they have to do and how their role pertains to the district. Because the person that's going to be knocking on their door now is asking them a couple of questions, going to be that area director. And we all know an area director is a district leader. Make sense? I'm going to push to this one and go straight into leaving the club, that president now talking to the area director, that area council structure. Okay, I'm in the right place. So I wanted to go over a little bit about the structure here. This here, and I love the way they have it spelled out. They always did. It's never been different. But because districts are so strapped with getting people to step up or see their potential to step up, we don't get a robust council team, whether it's on the area level, the division level, and even the district level. Every level in a district leadership should be robust. And what I believe that would do, and you can correct me if I'm wrong, or just share with me some of your ideas too. But I believe if we had this structure and we had a robust team, one, we would have a full bench, BENCH, I said it clearly, for the next year. And in addition to that, we're grooming, and we are grooming with ease. Okay, now what I mean by grooming with ease is that everyone has a role to play. So nobody's doing double duty. Nobody has to double dribble. Nobody has to do a double take, where now they are stressed out, overwhelmed, and say, you know what, never again. But if we could have a robust leadership team, again, this recommended structure here, it would be awesome, because you have that bench where you can pull people from, and so many people are watching you, and then everyone can put their hand in order to do their part. So for instance, you have a program quality director, club growth director, assistant area director. So now they're doing and assisting when Kathleen, as a program quality director, is asking the area director for events, venues, programs, games, even as little as things as games on Zoom. But then the area director doesn't have to take all that on, because they have an assistant area director in the program quality field that can be able to assist. What's happening is that the area director assistant is one, learning how from you, the area director, how to delegate. They're learning from the program quality director, the trio, how to plan, assist, and some of the things that she's responsible for. So she has her eyes on several things. So everybody in this list here, the area secretary who's taking notes, planning with the program quality area assistants, and working with the club presidents, vice presidents, education and membership. Everyone has their part, and everyone's learning from so many different people that now I'm ready. I'm actually I'm leaning off the bench. I'm sitting on the edge of my chair. I'm ready for next year because I've already been informed. I've already had hands-on. I would love that. Anyone have anything to say to that? Because I know I spoke a lot, but I just wanted to kind of get you guys feedback on that as well.
Well, I think personally, I love this. I've never in 20 or 40 years with District 18, never been part of an area where they had an assistant area governor or director, an area secretary, half the club presidents don't show up, all these different things. I think one of the problems is though that they feel that their time is not being, that they can't utilize their time. So therefore they don't spend the time to be involved with this. I think, just the time constraints. And back when I started, they didn't have emails. We didn't have cell phones. Everything was by a phone call when you're standing in your kitchen or at your office, and you mailed everything, So you would think that as time went on and we have these other tools available to us, we still don't take the time to do these things. If you have an area director that spends, we'll just say 5 hours a week doing all the different things that they need to do for their area, because they got, if they had the two assistants, now it's an hour and a half.
It could be.
It could be.
It could
so
be.
I think that's one of the things that we don't talk about. I remember, everybody here knows that I was a scouter for 45 years. And, it's the same type of thing. Oh, yeah, it's 1 hour a week. Yeah. They're also supposed to be truthful. It's an hour a week or an hour and a half a week per kid. And then another hour per adult. So it's like.
Yeah, you got to factor in the mom and the dad.
Mom and the dad, yeah. So, but I think just, there again, these are the things that you're responsible for as a director or as a president. And you have to be honest with them. It takes work. You will spend some time. There are ways to minimize that amount of time, but you're going to spend some time. And I think that's, I think that's one of the big turnoffs is, I don't have time to do that.
That's powerful. That is. And that was a great analogy with the troopers. Mm-hmm. But yes, one of the things we failed to do, or one of the things I thought of after I didn't know about this structure. So I'm area director, didn't know, and then area director again didn't know till the end of the year. Then I said, okay, this is what I want to do, come to division director, is that I had in my mindset that I'm gonna build my team prior to. So one of the things I think that would help this in a challenged district, and that's most of the districts, where we don't have enough people who stepping up or even know they could step up. And some people just don't know. But one of the things I did, I said, I'm gonna come in with a team. So we could come in with the team that helps. I'm just trying to think of ways and solutions that we can actually get to this point, this structure. I wasn't at this structure as a division director, but I did have a team coming in, and it was a team of 5 area directors. So I wasn't short on that part. But if I knew more about this structure, I could have seen me stepping to the side. Now I have my 5. Let me find some helpers. So if we actually set that mindset or help or even put that out there when we speak to leaders who may be thinking about going up, that's a help. Hey guys, this is your opportunity to build your own team. This is what you should look for and how many you should look for. See if they, because most of the time people say, let's do a buddy system. Let's grow together. I'm just trying to look for solutions.
You're breaking up a little bit, Cynthia. You get all excited. You get all excited, and then you move around.
Yeah, I gotta stay still. So yeah, so just some as a solution. Any others? Any feedback on that, on the structure? And I can move to the next one, and it's the same thing at the division level. Look at that. That is so profound to me. and I know that this is a learning organization. I know it's a learning thing, but can you imagine if we can learn this as a president of a club before we make those 2 steps up? And then I can come in with my own team. I've already built a rapport in 3 different clubs. Come on, this would be huge. So this is something I definitely want to kind of push on people. Hey, if you want to do it, definitely, but don't do it alone.
Right.
Build a buddy system. Bring somebody with you. You know. All right.
I would like to say something.
Yes, Anne
Could I
Marie.
say, yes, my challenge with the club and myself was that as a VP of public relations, I didn't know the hands-on what exactly I need to do. All I knew it was you have to do something with public, with meetup and all of those stuff. And it's after I become president, I still didn't know how does a member get involved. How do they get, for example, I'm mentoring now. I just took on the mentorship program, and I'm mentoring this individual who's a new member. And only after being on the phone with her, trying to get her to sign up on to do her first speech, then I realized that the treasurer had to do the payment, and he didn't do that. And then the VP of membership supposed to enter her in, he didn't do that. So all of these gaps is something that I have been asking all the time and trying to figure out where to find and who does what was not clear to me. And it's probably somewhere in Toastmasters International, but somehow it was not clear enough for me to see it. And when I asked questions from members who were there, it was not clear answer. So what I'm in task with doing and decide to do is to just put a list of things of what everyone is doing, so that when the time comes for people to be in those roles, they can have a clear idea what it's supposed to be. But because it's not because they don't want the role, it's because they don't even have any idea. Oh, I supposed to do this. Oh, that's what this I supposed to do. No one seems to know at this level. So, and only after I come into this meeting on you guys level, then I'm realizing I'm seeing how I can fill the gaps. I'm learning from nuggets from what you guys are saying and practicing stuff. And at the time I'm on the meeting with you guys, I'm writing down notes. But it's something that I wish that we could have learned in the in the TLI, the actual hands-on, at least even if you take 10 minutes to do the hands-on. After the meeting, the VP of public relationship to go online and make sure and update the meeting website, update this, do this. All of these things I have to actually tell everybody exactly what to do. And that to me becomes a challenge. But you don't want to, since it's volunteer, to constantly having to tell people, don't forget to do this. You need to do this. You need to do that.
Excellent. Anne Marie, thank you for being transparent. I'm going to turn it over to Kathy, and she's going to give you some feedback on that. Beautiful. Thank you again.
Thanks, Anne Marie, for that comment. One of the things that I learned, I'm a long-time Toastmasters, 13 years. We were taught to read. And as Cynthia said, everything's on the Toastmasters website. The Club Leadership Handbook is the foundation for the clubs. Everything in there will tell you the timing of what they need to do. Now, some of the hands-on things like, update the website, things like that, you may just have to add that into that. But if you go through that Club Leadership Handbook, it gives you the timelines. It tells exactly what each of the different officers need to do. Yep, there it is.
Thank you very much. You said the Club Leadership Handbook.
Yes.
Okay.
Yeah, back in the day, they used to mail them to the incoming club officers, but now it's available online. You can download it. And like I tell you, they give you a timeline and exactly what you need to do from July 1st to June 30th for each of the officer roles.
Okay, so I'll be printing that on our next meeting coming up the end of this month. I'll be bringing it for every member. Thank you.
Yes, yes. And that goes for district leadership as well. So again, Toastmasters International doesn't leave you high and dry at all. So they have it for the club. They have it for the club,
the handbook for the club, and they also have it for district leadership. So when you step up into district leadership, you go from one Bible to the next Bible. That's it. Everything you need is step by step in there. How I put this presentation together and what I'm speaking out of and to is from that handbook. Every word, word for word. Excellent. Thank you, Kathy.
But you know, it's something that for me, how I've heard that same statement with a lot of the different positions in Toastmasters, though. I didn't know I had to do that. I didn't realize I needed to do that. I didn't really, you know, and so it lets me go back to when we are having trainings, are we actually training to the stuff that they need to learn? Or are we just, oh, we want to talk about, this is what it means to be a treasurer. This is what it means to be the PPR. This is what it means to be, you know, the secretary or the president. So are we actually giving them the skills needed, or are we just running through, you know, oh, this is what we've always done, so we're going to go ahead and do that? That's my question to a lot to the leadership is like, you know, are we just running through the motions, or are we actually training? And then again, are we training them before they take the position, or are we training them after they take the position? Because now they already got bad habits if it's after the fact. So, you know.
All great points, Taz. Yeah. And that's as a district leader in the district leadership, you have to be able to discern between the two. Mm-hmm. So for instance, Kathleen gave a webinar on facilitator versus, was it facilitator versus trainer, or trainer versus, was it that? Yeah, you got to know the difference. If you're a great speaker, that doesn't always say that you are a great facilitator or trainer. So we need to, as a district leader, we need to be able to discern or decipher between the two and make sure we actually get a facilitator who can actually train. Because what they're going to do is we're going to be given what Toastmasters International tells us to speak or to teach on.
Right. But
it's up to that trainer to be able to dig down deep into it to say, hey, this is definitely something that we need, but it's a little bit over their head. Let me bring it down a little bit more, as if Cynthia is a 6-year-old and she needs to know. Because if you come to me with the moments of truth and you give me the list, it's really not telling me anything because you haven't actually put it to a practical environment, if you will.
Right.
Tell me why that first impression makes a difference. Because you want to keep that person in your club so your club can grow or whatever. Because if you don't, if you're grouchy and they come up upon you, why would I come back?
Right.
The moments of truth. So that, yeah, it makes a huge difference, Anne-Marie, Taz, that you have to be able to, I hate to say it, but you have to dumb it down so somebody can relate, if that makes sense. So it won't go over their head, because a lot of times we do that. I know I did it when I first started. I was like, oh, you want me to do a training? Okay, I'm reading. Because I didn't know then. But somebody picked me and said I could do it, so I'm going to do it.
Right.
But I didn't dig down and be able to relate it to the people to make sure they understood what they are now supposed to be doing. Practical is so much, just being practical really, really helps. If you can actually break it down and put it in words where, hey, give me a scenario that I'm going to be faced with.
Ben looked like he was going to say something, but he was like,
Sorry, Ben. Go, Ben. We have 1 minute. You have it.
No, I was just going to say, great presentation, Cynthia. You touched on a lot of important points, but I must exit. I do have to go to work.
Oh, no wonder he wanted to talk. I shouldn't have let him say it. He had to stay on.
I gotta go to lunch.
But thank you guys. That's it. That's just 1 hour effort. Thank you for joining. Definitely Anne-Marie. Thank you for joining. Kathleen, Kathy, Taz. That's the end of the presentation. I will start the next on next Tuesday, and I'll be touching on, I can't think of it now, but I will recap a little bit about today, but I'll go on what we have. Again, thank you guys for joining. I think the time was perfect.
Hector, are you are you a part of the district leadership or club leadership?
No, I'm a club president.
Okay.
Yeah, I'm a club president this year. So
So we did,
I 100% agree with what Anne Marie said. You know, like lots of our officers don't know what to do, their responsibilities. So
Yeah, and Taz hit on it. A lot of times you come in and they see, excuse me for saying this, but fresh meat. It's like, oh, fresh. I don't have to be president today. I'm going to actually ask a new person. So a lot of people pull people in, but they don't pass the baton properly, if you will.
Right.
And they should. They should give you, the first thing they should give you is a congratulations, pat on the back, or thank you for taking on this. And then the second thing they should give you is let me walk with you hand in hand. The third thing they should give you is that club handbook, that club leadership handbook, because every question you have, the answer's in there, all the way down to your role. And if everybody reads that and know their role, then no one really would get over inundated and feel so overwhelmed because they're doing 3 different roles.
right. And then the hardest thing for your club leadership becomes, how do you integrate all 7 positions? Everybody knows what they're supposed to do now. Now it's just how you're going to integrate it and make it all work together, like, you know, the wheels on the bus, you know. So one flat tire, the bus goes nowhere. So it's like
I'm leaning.
So anyway, hopefully I'll see you next week, Ekta. Nice meeting you.
nice meeting you too,
Please
everybody.
come back, Ekta, and definitely
Sure,
Vice President of Education with you.
sure. Thank
Or even
you.
or even your successor, that person you're looking at to take your spot. Bring them with you.
Yep.
Have a good evening. Have a good day.
Thank you.
Ekta.
Bye.
Thanks, Anne Marie. Really appreciate you.
Bye, Anne Marie. See you later,
Bye.
Kathy.
See you.
Bye, Cynthia.
Hey, Hunty.
Hi, Bobby girl. How you doing?
I am good. Today is a good day.
Hold on 1 second. So go ahead and stop the recording.